If you've had a stroke or a head injury, or you know someone who has, then heads up, I've got some hot news for you if you're struggling to exercise regularly. And if you can stay to the end, I have a very special offer for you that, quite simply, I don't think you'll see anywhere else on YouTube. Bold claim. However, to start, first, one of my favourite subjects, and that is motivation. Lots of people might look like they aren't motivated to exercise after their stroke or brain injury. I've worked with somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 families of stroke and head injured survivors in my roughly 4 decades of work in neurophysio. And it's probably been one of the family's biggest concerns, and it sounds something like this. He doesn't help himself, or she doesn't do much. She won't do that for us. He doesn't do that when you're not here. And in the main, in my opinion, they aren't actually lacking motivation, but that they do procrastinate. For myself, never put off till tomorrow what you can leave till the day after, I say. I happen to think that most of the people are in fact highly motivated to do their homework exercises. So what's going on, and why all the procrastination? Because we could be talking days, weeks, months, or even years before people really get started. One reason, I believe, is a genuine fear of getting things wrong. People often say, well, I didn't do this because I wanted to check with you. Western culture is riddled with it, and for this channel I have to make disclaimers that what you see and what you hear does not constitute medical advice, in case somebody gets it wrong. When I'm working one-to-one with a survivor, of course, I make sure that when they do their homework, they don't fall, which probably is the biggest potential pitfall. But my main message is that the biggest mistake you can make is simply not starting. Of course, then, as physios, we try to help make movement more usable, free-flowing, functional, pain-free, stronger, more enduring. But we must also help people to know that the exercises will not look that good on day 1 or by the end of week 1, and that you might see some difference after a month, for example. But it's about the same if you really start a jogging program, if you're fit and well. Another side to that is that so often a stroke survivor's perception of their own body is disrupted. So appreciating any success they do have, it's not a given. In my own work, one of the main rules I use to counter this is, unsurprisingly, video. I work in the UK, so pretty much everyone has access to a sophisticated video camera these days in their smartphone, making regular selfie videos on their own phone to record progress. And I like to use it to record the little coaching tips and the chatter that goes on during a formal treatment session. And of course it records the exercises to do as well, so that over time a survivor can build a library of their homework and a record of their progress. I've seen far too many written and drawn home exercise programs gathering dust and coffee stains, stuck at the bottom of a pile, out of reach and out of use. But generally people do have good access to their TV remote. So that's where the homework goes. Onto a USB stick that I stick in the back of a telly, and in that way they have access to their lessons every day. Perhaps more importantly, there's another human trait which sooner or later we all fall into, and I'll just call it the ego trap. And the ego trap is so simple that you would have thought that we would have learnt to avoid it or deal with it by now. Anyway, imagine living in the Stone Age. A young man goes out with a hunting party, becomes slightly separated from the main group. He happens upon a deer that doesn't run away. It stood next to a mole hole that's caught its foot and it's got a broken leg. The young man spears the unfortunate beast and yells for the other to come over. He's now the hero, and the village has enough food for a couple of days, and the young man enjoys his success and the attention he gets. But soon it's time to go out on the next hunt, and he's been promoted. He has higher status. But he knows he was just lucky, and he doesn't fully deserve that new status, but he's pretty keen to hang on to it and the attention and celebrity that goes with it. So what to do? Well, maybe a simple injury or claim of an injury or minor illness. That keeps him in camp for a few more days, maybe with some extra attention. Delaying tactics. You see where this fits? It's the fear of not living up to the expectation of the people around us. That's an ego trap. And it gets everyone at some point in our lives. I know I've fallen into one a time or two. So if you're helping someone in any way to get some kind of goal, you can probably help them most by adding something along the lines of bit throwaway, you know. Most people don't get that far. Or, I wouldn't worry if you didn't get so far with it. Something like that. Their response is more likely to be, I'll show you, and try to proceed to work harder, more intensely. So if you can motivate someone, that would be how you could go about it. And here's my offer. Simply write in the comments the phrases you hear from a family member, and I'll help the top 3 suggested challenges with some simple suggestions about how you can motivate them. And I'll do that by making a personal coaching video and put it back here on the channel for everyone to enjoy. One that just deals with your own problem subject. As I often say, it's your channel. You may have gathered that I can talk about stroke until the cows come home, but if people make it a request channel, it'll come alive and stay alive for far longer than just listening to Andy's next rant. Although I am partial to a good rant, it must be said. Thanks for watching. I hope it's been useful again today. Do put comments and suggestions and likes and subscribe on the channel so that you know when the next video is available to watch.